welcome back to The Moment. It's your co-host, Meredith Lynch. She's a little older, a little wiser. Yes, guys, today is my birthday. I feel like that moment.
Wow.
It's like, I just remembered today's my birthday. That was me at like 7 a.m. this morning. But I'm here on my birthday, and I'm with, as always, my beautiful, wonderful co-host, Rebecca Senanez. And also, so excited, we have our first cisgendered male guest co-host. So it had to be someone that we were like, this is going to be a good dude.
He's breaking the glass ceiling at the moment.
I didn't know I was winning Wokest Male Awards. This is amazing. Thank you.
You want the male loneliness epidemic. We don't want you lonely. We want all the other ones lonely. You can come hang with us.
Appreciate
it. Josh is doing many, many things, not only just curing the male loneliness epidemic. He is an Emmy-winning journalist, comedian, former Obama digital strategist. Josh was the creative director for last year's DNC convention and made waves running for DNC vice chair, pressing for messaging, modernization, and digital infrastructure. We love to see it. He hosts the podcast Trivial and the new late night series Tomorrow Today, which I saw, and it's incredible. And you can stream that right after this on YouTube. We'll link to it in the stories and obviously in the post. Josh Burstein, welcome to The Moment.
Thank you. Yeah, that was beautiful. Appreciate it. And yeah, I happy birthday.
Thanks. I know. I probably should have told you that before we started. It's like it's like a bomb to drop in the intro, but like also too, I'm turning 23. So it's like, who cares? I'm just screwing with you guys. Josh is like, how do I react to this? Do I like react by saying like, no, there's no way.
You don't look a day over 22. Yeah, I got you.
Remember when Michael Fanone was like, you guys are so young. You guys are, and I was like, yeah, we're Gen Z. We're Gen Z.
You guys, someone messaged me yesterday and asked me if I had an upper bleph recently. And I was like, no, but thank you for asking. What a compliment.
Yeah.
And for those who are unaware, that's an eye lift. And I was like, you think I have eye lift money?
I'm like off-white cis male because I had no idea what that was, but also haven't been back in LA long enough. So
well, this is why you're on The Moment, is we're educating the masses on the really important things. Much like you. And also, like, before we got on, you said, and I agree, the DNC was the last time we felt any happiness. It was the last time we had any hope. So thank you for producing that.
Absolutely. I will take all the credit. I told little John to turn down for something and he just ran with it, Obviously the DNC is not usually unanimous with good time. So felt like I stuck the landing, did what I could to just be sriracha and make everything a little better.
Everything a little better. That's a great tagline.
That's what I do. I just try and be a little bonus and, fill in the gaps. And there was, with live events, throwing a party of that scale, I think that you just don't get a lot of opportunities. So every 4 years, I get really excited to go back into that thing and try and improve it. So hopefully I'll catch you guys there in 2028 if we have elections.
Hey. On that note, should we get into some of the,
into the stories? Because
get us with the fun stuff out the gate. Yeah.
Like, it felt like nothing, like, I kind of was like, oh, like things are feeling like oddly quiet. And then they stopped being quiet for like, did you guys feel that way for like a day or two? I was like, things feel like weirdly quiet leading up to the holiday. And now they're no longer quiet. So Rebecca, walk us through it.
Yeah, this one is a bummer, but there's a lot to like get into here. The story like opens up a whole new can of worms, which I feel like is what Trump is really great at. But like, okay, so the day before Thanksgiving, 2 National Guardsmen who'd been stationed there by Trump back in August were shot. One of them was killed. Sarah Breckstorm has passed away, really sad, 20-year-old. The alleged shooter is a 29-year-old who drove from Washington State, but he came to the United States from Afghanistan, and the CIA says he was part of a military operation there that was helping the CIA in their operations in Afghanistan. And then if you'll remember, during the Biden administration, there was this program to bring those people who'd helped the United States work against the Taliban to the United States. This shooter, came with that cohort of people. So you can imagine what happens next. I'll let you guys imagine, and then I'll tell you what happens next. What do you guess happened next?
Josh, you go first. What do you think happens next?
Well, I feel like one bad brand ambassador can really ruin it for everyone. One Bibi Netanyahu can ruin it for all us Jews. So
one Bibi Netanyahu ruins it for all us Jews. Yeah. I didn't know Mishbucha. Who knew?
Yehoshua Misha ben Acharon. I mean, it's right there in the title.
My Burstein. This is why he's breaking the glass ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, exactly that. I feel this happens with Trump. I don't know how he does it, or like maybe he's just really good at picking these niche things where it's like exactly the worst possible version of this story happens. So unsurprisingly, Trump immediately framed the shooting as an act of terror, which we can talk about. And he also ordered an additional 500 National Guards troops to Washington, D.C. We don't know where they're coming from, which is always sort of a question. But then last night, Trump went on a Truth Social rant, as he's wont to do. He halted all immigration from third world countries, which I want to talk about what exactly is a third world country. He also said he would denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility and deport people he deems non-compatible with Western civilization, but he didn't have any details on how he'd do that. So I guess we're going to have to check in with Stephen Miller. Then in that rant, this story, he singled out Minnesota. He went on a rant about Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman who is a Somalian immigrant. And he said that there are Somalian gangs terrorizing Minnesota, that people are afraid to come out of their apartments, and ended it by calling Governor Tim Walz, our friend of the pod's father, Hope Walz, the R word. So we take one day off and we're right back into it. So I want to start with, what do you think he thinks when he says third world country?
I would say it means that there's no hotties there and just oil to be ravaged.
No hotties.
Yeah. He wants the very best. I mean, this is all just harking back to day 5 of his first term with the Muslim ban. This is a continuance of we want just the good ones, and you should be privileged to be selected like Willy Wonka style from this orange man. And it's not, I'm assuming if it was like an Afghani situation, these people needed refuge because they had helped the American government, and the reason the Biden administration would help them is because they would not be safe to continue to support democracy and our interests while still staying as neighbors to terrorist organizations.
Yeah, and I think one of the things is unfortunately there's lots of shootings in the United States, and a lot of times they happen to be done by people who, probably their ancestors came here in the, early 1900s. So it's when Trump sees this of, hey, this is someone who came through this. It's for him, that's just great. He just, in a way, it reminds me, and I hate to even say this, but it reminds me of how I do my own content, where I'm that's the hook. You know what I mean? He finds the hook.
That's it.
Great branding.
100%. He's
guys, I know TikTok's going to get mad at me, you guys. I don't mean I'm like Trump. I just mean it's you find the hook and you find the thing and then you make it the thing. Last night, I'm going to bed and I'm reading the unhinged tweet or whatever, Truth Social. And Josh and I can get into this because I'm hearing, Josh, you're in comedy rooms. I'm in comedy rooms. The R word has made quite the comeback. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I thought immediately was he said that almost everybody who's on quote unquote welfare, which I was also what is welfare in 2025, right? Is it getting SNAP benefits? Is it whatever?
Yeah, that's true. He does want to rant in there about he somehow makes this about welfare. He puts census, he quotes himself, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was a weird part of the rant too.
But this is where Trump and I have this in common. I was like, bet. Okay, let's look at this data. So it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm pulling up the fucking data. More US born citizens are on SNAP benefits exponentially than foreign born. Like it's insane. I can't remember the exact number, but the amount of people who are on SNAP benefits are like far and away more US born folks. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you are a person who looks to Trump for some of this information, it's like, yeah, this is this person was an Afghan man. Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay.
Mhm.
But this idea that, all these foreign born people are all the people on SNAP, that's factually untrue. And that's where I think then people just sort of latch on. They take the one true thing and they go along with all the other things that are fake. But Josh,
Yeah.
I want to hear about your thoughts on him calling Tim Walz the R word, because I think MAGA will go, well, it's a word. Who cares? What are you going to do?
But will be like, he's the most transparent president of all time. And so he's saying it to your face instead of behind your back. Like,
I just feel like it speaks to the boldness and zero consequences we have in our society right now. And this does feel like that, again, the woke conversations about what we can do, our freedoms, was really just about being able to make terrible jokes at other people's expenses and not fear retribution, or that, we can't enjoy a good, crass delivery of humor. I don't know. Like it's not, that's not what I'm gathering from this. I think the scapegoating is what I'm scared about. That the language is just him testing out new material in this particular context where he'll do it on the stump soon enough. And, one of the things about just singling out this person for all third world countries and welfare and Afghanis, I don't, as an Oklahoman, look at every Christian and attribute Timothy McVeigh's actions to them, right? That I think it's a very consistent, singular outing of Muslims and the other, and fear of the other that they want to keep installing with this. And it's so, I don't know, you could look into so many other parts of this guy's history, not knowing anything about someone who's clearly mentally unstable and then not well, that like you could single out instead of this like crazy thread that leads you to Tim Walz.
First of all, it's also like the perfect, like Trump gets so lucky with these narratives. It's like he can bring back the Sleepy Joe, like he can bring back his old hits.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's got like a QB wristband of just like all his plays. He can just
exactly. And like this one hit like some of his favorite tunes. He's like a refrain for. But I read this Truth Social, and I feel like part of me is like, maybe he's he's still a genius and he can pick all of his favorite things and like run the discourse, discourse on the discourse in a million different directions. And then the other part of me looks at this and I'm like, this is somebody like, put down the phone, grandpa. And I truly cannot decide which it is. Like, if you read it and you were to read it out loud, you're like, this is somebody who's not fully there. Like in the middle of it, he just has census in parentheses, this is where it's just like this nutty rant. And in some ways I'm like, this is a man who's, 79 years old, is like,
still the sweet old grandpa who loves Zoran, right?
Yeah, like, exactly. Exactly.
He contains multitudes.
But like, do you think that this is the rantings of somebody who's losing his mind, or the rantings of somebody who really knows how to send all of the people who cover and talk about these things into exactly the millions of directions that he wants? He's going to get stories about calling Tim Walz the R word. He's going to get stories about third world countries. He's going to get stories about Sleepy Joe Biden's terrible, immigration policy. Like he's going to get stories about the census and welfare. Like, is he still the sort of like nutty executive producer genius, or is he just losing it and we're all losing it with him, so we don't know what to do about it? Which is it? Both?
I would say it's a much like funnier, entertaining thing if we weren't all inside the same Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah.
But with trying to understand this very stable genius. It's also like, art snobs trying to like read into a painting. I don't actually think the there is there as much as it's just base instincts installed in him and the stream of consciousness. So there's 60 years of salesmanship. There's instinctual ability to brand. But I don't think of him as a long form strategist outside of him having great vision for how he wants to like upholster the East Wing.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. What if Donald Trump had just taken Stand Up 101? Like, I think we could have had what if he'd just gone to Fourth Wall, Josh, and tested out some of this material? We could have had a very different plot. But speaking of that, you probably have a unique relationship to Fourth Wall, which is very niche, reference, guys, just so you know. Yeah. It's an open mic place.
It's a place comics go to work out on a bench press that everybody like doesn't want to watch other people do. Yeah.
I believe there is a sign there that says like days since a certain word has been said, but maybe that's a rumor. Okay, so you have been to the East Wing for holiday parties, and the Christmas tree has arrived at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Melania's favorite time of year, as we know. And now, like, they make her go so hard on this, which I love. Like, they're like, we got to really get you out there. But I'm curious, what do you think, as somebody who has frequented the White House holiday parties, what do you think they're going to do with no East Wing for Christmas?
I can't say I've thought about that part. It really, you shouldn't think with all the like people suffering that like the building is going to get you, but it does just iconically showcase that.
It's like a symbol.
Yeah.
Well, that certain things will not ever be able to be repaired that this administration is doing, right? We can't undo it. And so, yeah, there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of good memories. And as far as facility, that was a massive space and the core space for all social entertaining. And I don't know what you would use when it's cold, because you could do a lot of things on the South Lawn. You would do just basically everything while it's getting repaired. But I think even Donnie knows that like most giant construction projects take longer than expected. I can't imagine this will be completed as large as it is in any order. So I don't know where they'd be hosting folks outside of encouraging everyone to go to the winter White House and just host things straight up at Mar-a-Lago. The EEOB can do smaller things, but it doesn't have the same fanfare. It's basically where everybody goes to work during the day. And the West Wing is literally just stacked on top of each other, cubicle barracks of Josh Lyman wannabes. And now just trolls, just a lot of trolls in there, little 19-year-old trolls.
I also feel like, I mean, this is Melania's dream, because like one of the big, first lady duties is to decorate the White House. She like famously hates decorating for Christmas. She like had that leaked tape where she was like, I don't give a fuck about Christmas. Who cares about Christmas? And now she doesn't have an East Wing to decorate. Yeah. She doesn't have to do it. And so I feel like Melania is like, this is perfect. I can show up in an outfit. And like, Lord knows, I love a Melania outfit, and she doesn't have to do any of the decorating that she hates.
Yeah, maybe it's just smaller, even more exclusive, only for billionaire events, and they then just do giant rallies at Cap One Arena.
Yeah, that's right. Or the Rose Garden that's now the Olive Garden patio. Like maybe they throw some wreaths up there.
Unlimited breadsticks and Big Macs for all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen, let's go easy on the Olive Garden, okay? You know what? Sometimes it hits. You know what?
Should we perhaps hold space for the Olive Garden? Should we perhaps hold space?
Let's hold space for the Olive Garden. Unlimited breadsticks.
That was my inelegant transition to our guest, who I'm actually really, really excited to talk to today. We have with us today Tracy E. Gilchrist. Tracy is a GLAAD award-winning editor-in-chief, a journalist, a moderator, an interviewer, a lecturer, And we all famously know her from the Holding Space interview with the cast of Wicked last year. Hello, Tracy.
Oh my goodness.
Can't hear you. Uh-oh.
We'll get her.
We'll
I'm
get
so
her.
excited that
Go.
Tracy's here. How about now? Hold, please. We're holding. Maybe now.
We're holding space.
We are holding space. You know, it's funny because when Tracy went viral, I would say, oh, maybe now we got her.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yes. We held space long enough.
It's a little early for me on the day after Thanksgiving. I can't lie.
I hear you, girl.
So true.
Yeah.
We're so excited you're here. I remember, you know, when you went viral, like learning a little bit about your story, etc. And then I remember like maybe about 6 months later seeing you come up on one of my Instagram reels. And my thought was like, it was great to get the viral moment, but I think the real story here is we got Tracy E. Gilchrist, and like you're just lovely. Like there's like you are so lovely, and we're so excited that you're here with us. And we're going to talk a little bit about what happens when the journalist becomes the story, because that is a very unique thing. And you are a journalist. You've been in the trenches for a long time. But first, we want to start with something that's happening right now. Let's start with a little Defying Gravity. So the Trump administration used the song from Wicked in a TikTok video this week promoting ICE arrests. And then you, Tracy, came out and said that the White House can't have Defying Gravity or Holding Space.
No.
Can you talk a little bit about why you spoke up on this specifically? And I realize this is it's 8:20 in the morning and we're already hitting you with this, but we'd love to hear your take on it.
I will do my best to be somewhat articulate. This was... I mean, obviously everything that's happening with ICE is horrifying and heinous and disgusting. And then to have these words that came out of my mouth that I spoke, and when I spoke them, it was 2 days, not even 2 full days after the election in 2024, when I interviewed them. He was on my mind, a fascist leader who ousts the other at the height, of her power. And so it's what they do, right? They co-opt things and appropriate things, and they can't have it. They keep trying to do, I mean, woke is a term from Black culture. They took that and ruined that. They can't have everything. They've been playing YMCA at his rallies. They really can't have Dancing Queen. I'm not giving them that. But and Laura Branigan's Gloria, like these are, queer coded songs. Like that was like a lesbian anthem when I was a kid. So they have a history of doing this. I think they think they're clever. And I think if we just call them out and say, we see what you're doing. I mean, your whole strategy is, I know you are, but what am I? Like, it's that simple. So Wicked, first of all, the Wizard of Oz, that history is very important to queer people. I have a poster behind me. It's been there forever. It's been important to me my entire life, the Wizard of Oz. So it's interesting that I went viral over something that is Oz related. And
can I ask what makes it a queer story specifically? Can you talk about it a little bit?
Sure. Well, I mean, we have this kind of journey to find oneself, right? They're all looking for something. They all feel othered in some way. I mean, Dorothy just can't get home, but she's looking for her center, whatever that is. The rest of them are all on a journey to find something. And I think that's important. Like, so many queer people don't feel whole because we've been told or not shown people who look like us since we can remember. So that's part of it. I think too. I think the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion are gay for sure. And then you have Judy Garland, who's playing Dorothy, and Judy is the ultimate gay icon. She's so vulnerable and open and talented. Like that combination of talent and this vulnerability and kind of like pain that you see, but that resilience, that's very, very queer and what kind of makes a gay icon. So, and of course, Friends of Dorothy came from that. So yeah, because I mean that was code to say, to let people know that you were gay back in the day. It was I mean before my time. But are you a friend of Dorothy? So it just has this very long history. So with Wicked being the stage play, and first the book written by a gay man, and there's a sapphic interest in the book, that when you see that on screen, that chemistry is not imagined. That's baked in. So the book and then the musical is so meaningful to all kinds of people, right? But also really Elphaba's journey is resonant with LGBTQ plus people. Not every queer person, but for a lot of folks. And it's particularly craven to take something that is meaningful to the queer community, to communities who are otherized, and then apply it to something so disgusting as what ICE is doing to people in this country.
And not to mention an administration that is like actively going after queer identities in various forms.
Yes. And, I mean, it's scapegoating and demonizing the trans community, like kind of what the Wizard does to Elphaba. So there's so many parallels. And yeah, this was really disgusting to me. So I wanted to be sure I spoke out about it. And holding space, I didn't come up with that. It came out of my mouth in the moment. I think I got it from my favorite Peloton yoga instructor, because I went back, because I took some classes. I broke my arm earlier this year, so I could only do slow flow yoga for the longest time. And so I went back and took some of her earlier classes, and she said it before the moment. This is a psychological term. A woman named Heather Plett really kind of fleshed out what that is in her book, which I think it was called The Art of Holding Space. So it's not a new term, but it comes from psychology, or, just kind of, I would say, more liberal left-wing views. And they're trying to co-opt it, so they can't have it. And they cannot have Cynthia Erivo's battle cry. That was what they placed in the video. I mean, this is a Black queer woman. You can't have her battle cry. Stop. Yeah. So it was interesting to wake up and see that had happened.
So we're going from Shavasana to the polls in the midterms. Is that the plan?
Yes, let's do it.
I have a question.
No,
because you brought up, do you think that it's like chicken or the egg? Do you think that the Trump administration realizes how queer their media choices are?
I don't know.
I mean, Gloria is just a bop. I think it's universal. It's loved by like hockey teams. But if they start like co-opting Robin, then you should take the streets.
The YMCA thing is pretty, like, to see him like with the it is a distinctly queer song. I agree. It's
about a social services program as well. Like, that's the other thing. I'm like, this is a song about a nonprofit.
Yeah, I mean, I
and
think
exercise. He's not about that either.
There's definitely a level of, forced ignorance around some of what they're co-opting. But I think it's somewhat purposeful too. They love to do that. I also think whoever's running some of their socials is probably a closeted homosexual, because when Ariana Grande shared a meme from Matt Burstein, where it was essentially, she just shared it to her stories, and it was something along the lines of, what's being done to trans people, what's being done to immigrants, et cetera, all those things. And then, are your groceries cheaper? That sort of thing. Dear Trump supporters. She just shared it. The White House weighed in and they did it using some of her lyrics. I'm forgetting which ones.
Wow.
Yeah, but so whoever's running the account like knows Ariana Grande's lyrics. So
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
We see
Suspicious.
you.
Mhm.
Right. And then yeah. I'm sure Trump doesn't know what the holding space meme is, but someone at that account does.
I
Yeah.
always find it fascinating. Like, I'm thinking about Link Lauren or like these far right commentators who are like openly gay, but also like very, very pro Trump. I'm like, I wonder how this works in your brain. I don't know. There's something always a little bit like, how did you come to this conclusion here? And
I'd
maybe
say
it's
they're inherently selfish.
yeah.
Yes, I think you're right, Josh. To me, and maybe this is a small view of things, but I think that people who support him, I mean, yes, maybe there's fear, but where is that fear coming from? I think it's always inevitably fear of the other. So I think there's always some sort of ogeny going on, misogyny or homophobia or transphobia or xenophobia, whatever, racism. I think there's always some of that going on, and you could be a gay person who's racist or xenophobic. So also money.
Yeah.
People with money want to hang on to their money, and which is interesting to me. I mean, LGBTQ plus nonprofits are really struggling to get money. And I thought, oh, they're going to be fine because all these people who fought for marriage equality, all these gay folks who wanted marriage equality, wanted to make sure they could get married, they're going to give money to these organizations that are protecting queer people. And that's not happening at the rate that I kind of maybe naively thought it was going to happen, because, maybe it was only about marriage. Maybe it was really only about having those legal rights that help preserve money as well. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'd like to see more LGBTQ plus people with money support these organizations that are doing really important work to protect queer youth, trans youth, your marriages, all of that.
Yeah. Another thing that comes to mind with, the marriage equality fight is I remember being a kid and watching Will and Grace. And that was the first time like on TV that I was seeing like a distinctly queer story. And I do feel like that led up to a culture that was ready for that. But I just read this, I think this past week, GLAAD released a report saying that nearly half of LGBTQ characters are going to be cut on television next season.
I wrote that down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can we talk about that a little bit? I'm glad we're on the same page, because I saw that and I felt like that is a symptom of the times. What does it do to us? Why is this happening? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I think in order to understand another person's journey, you have to be able to first know that they exist. So one strategy of this administration has been erasing queer people. I mean, literally erasing LGBTQ plus people from the website, the White House website, quashing our histories in places like Florida with Don't Say Gay, etc. So that's a really great way to demonize people. It's like, well, they don't exist, or, they don't have a history. The whole thing with trans folks is they're acting as though this is something new. Trans people have been around forever. It's recorded in history. But if you erase that history, then you can, continue your lie and continue to demonize folks. So, I mean, when I came out, I didn't see anybody like me. I mean, the closest thing I had when I was a kid was Laverne and Shirley, which was, I mean, these two women that were on TV. They were best friends, but they were roommates also. And they had to share a bedroom because I guess they didn't have enough money. So they just had a 1-bedroom apartment that they shared.
Yeah.
To me, there was just something like, something about that. Also facts of life, but not any queer characters.
Right.
I think I saw few in the movies back then. And it's harmful not to see yourself. So I think we had some halcyon days, especially I would say from, well, obviously with like the L Word and Queer as Folk, but then we really had halcyon days with, say, Glee and Pretty Little Liars, and that whole kind of spate of shows geared toward young people, especially The Fosters. And that was all on ABC Family or Freeform as it became. Those were important, and we got Schitt's Creek and
That's right.
trying to I'm trying to think of network shows that had a lot of queer people, but
and those are all shows that are like wholesome those are, like the L Word is like a little bit edgy, but these were shows that were like part of our like family viewing, watching, like they weren't swearing on these shows either,
I mean, Modern Family, these two guys were anodyne. Like
that's right.
There was nothing, they were a loving gay couple. They were not a sexual couple. So I guess people were able to accept that, but also just good to see that they were together raising a child. So I anecdotally have not seen as many LGBTQ plus characters, I feel, in recent times. And I have to dive a little deeper into this report because it says that 159 won't be returning, but we don't know how many new ones we'll get. My sense is we're not going to get a lot because there's such a push against showing queer characters. And I mean, the Hunting Wives can't carry it all for us. We're going to need more than I think the Hunting Wives is almost enough, but we're going to need more.
That's so funny.
I think if you can't see yourself reflected, and if other people can't see you, then it leads to what we have now, which is someone in office who actively demonizes LGBTQ plus people.
I want to pass it to Josh for a second because you write comedy. You are a straight man, cisgendered man, and you write comedy, and you write comedy very, very well. So when you hear something like this, what does it make you think about in terms of like who's going to be in the rooms? Because if we're not seeing the characters, then who's in the rooms?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of Asian Jewish representation in the media. So I come from it from that perspective, I guess. But yeah, obviously, there was actually, you speak to Schitt's Creek, Kim's Convenience, the Canadian hit show where Simu Liu came out. They didn't do additional seasons because the entire writer's room was white. And they said they couldn't find the writers for that. And so I think they just called it because the actors gained a certain notoriety and didn't want to say these lines that didn't feel representative or however it works, right? So obviously where words come in, you get to like layer on top in performance and make the characters yours, but at a certain point, if you don't feel like the source material's going to be faithful, then you're not going to get great output. So what I'm hopeful for, Tracy, is that you're inspiring the whole like Wicked cinematic universe, and you'll get Tin Man on Disney Plus next fall or something like that.
Yes,
like 8-episode limited series. I
don't think the Wicked Tin Man is queer. He's not.
He's an incel. He's an incel.
Oh.
He is an incel. I heard that recently. Yes,
he's on
what I got.
You must love me, Glinda. Yeah.
This is your fault that I'm now a man with no heart.
Glinda's a full-on lesbian. She actually does not care.
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, Fierro he looks good, and it's good for status, but I think she's 100% lesbian.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I got out of that. We need to wrap, but I wanted to ask you, like, I come from a journalism world too, and something that I'm sort of like struggling with is how journalism has gone to like influencer mode. And I feel like this is probably even more so in queer media, where you're both sort of like, in urgency mode and like, in emergency, covering this administration and having to yourself sort of become an influencer. How have you sort of dealt with that as somebody who went viral in this way.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it went viral a year ago this week, and I was
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. I was completely overwhelmed. I mean, I knew I should lean into it. There was something about it where I thought I need to lean into this. This feels like a moment. It was when the New York City Gay Men's Chorus made a warm up to the words of my interview. I thought they were just singing Defying Gravity, but they made harmonies and, really feeling, holding space with that and feeling power in that. I mean, that was when I was like, oh, okay, this is really big. And I just knew to lean into it. I said yes to just about every interview that I was asked to do. I was asked to do Piers Morgan, and I kind of wanted to do that, but someone advised me not to. But I was like, I would love to do that.
Low risk, high reward, or
so it was a learning experience. I felt a little like I was tripping over my words in the beginning and trying not to repeat myself too much, trying to make sure I had the message on point about everything that I wanted to talk about. So, and then it was, oh, you need to do merch. Everyone had advice, which I was grateful for, but I couldn't figure out which way to turn. So you need to do merch. You need to be on TikTok. You need to be doing this. And I was just kind of frozen a little bit. So I have learned a little. I finally learned how to do a green screen on TikTok, and then they changed the interface and I can't find it.
I know. I'll help you.
Okay, thank you, because I have some announcements I need to make. And so I want to do that, but I already spent 10 minutes trying to find the green screen. I am not as great with technology as I would like to be. So I find that I'm glad that we have these platforms, and I feel as though influencer culture in general, I mean, I mentioned Matt Burstein, people seem to trust this more than they do any kind of legacy media at this point that is backed by corporations and ad sales, right? So I feel as though it is the way to go right now. I mean, we need our legacy media, but I also feel like this is also where we need to be. We need trusted voices in all kinds of media that are not tied to, say, ad dollars.
Yep.
Anything you want to announce here? Where can we find you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on all the platforms. I didn't write that down. Sorry. Again,
okay. We'll put it in the show notes.
I'm at Tracy E. Gilchrist I am on TikTok, although I don't post there as much as I will be doing. And on Instagram, that's where I am primarily. I'm also on Threads and Blue Sky, but I'm not really there that often. And I am launching a podcast. So that's something I've shot.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. It's an interview podcast where we talk about art and culture and, inspired by the moment. So that's coming out soon. I've taped my first interview, so I'm excited about that. So I'll make that a more official announcement when it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, we can wait. Yes. Tracy E. Gilchrist, you can find her on all the platforms, coming soon with a green screen. Thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful to have you, and we'll have you back. We loved talking with you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me on, and nice to meet you, Josh. Nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you, Tracy. Cheers.
Bye, Tracy.
Thank you.
I said it once, say it again. Yes, we got a viral moment, but also we got Tracy E. Gilchrist, and she's just lovely. Sometimes you get people who have a viral moment, and then you're kind of like, oh God, this person.
Yeah.
Tracy's meme coin is going to be lit. I'm definitely investing.
Yeah. Exactly, right? Wait till we have the holding space meme coin, right? The Bitcoin. You guys, this has been so much fun. We end every show with what's having a moment for each of us. So, Josh, I'd love to hear what's having a moment for you on this day after Thanksgiving.
I'm having a moment of excitement for my first trip to Mexico City next week.
Oh my God,
So basically, my partner really wanted to see Dua Lipa, and it was like $400 at Madison Square Garden and $40 in Mexico City. So they're like paying us to go there. So I was like, maybe I just bought tickets for Dos Lipos. I'm not sure if this is real, but yeah. So that's like our musical tourism excuse, and then we're just gonna eat and drink our way through that town. It's gonna be great.
It's so much fun. I just went on a solo trip back in September, very impulsively. I was like up at 8 a.m. on a Sunday and was like, Rebecca, should I go to Mexico City in 2 weeks? She was like, I think you should. Anyway, you're going to have so much fun. And that's the thing there. Everybody goes for concerts. Because when I was there, everyone was like, you're here for Oasis? I was like, I could be. I could be.
I'm there with Claudia Scheinbaum. I think she is, every time I see the president of Mexico speak, I'm like, we really miss them. Like, they are on the better timeline in Mexico for sure. Like, what did we do?
Well, Rebecca, what's having a moment for you?
So my sister and I did Thanksgiving together yesterday. We went to go get Chinese food. Usually we do Thanksgiving, but we were like the dishes, the everything. Then we came back to my house and watched a bunch of Tim Robinson comedy. I Think You Should Leave. And like, it's so stupid and so funny. Like, there's so few things that I'm like laughing out loud, and Tim Robinson is one of them. And so Tim Robinson is my forever moment for making my sister and I laugh very, very hard last night.
55 dumplings, 25 wontons.
I have to do something. Yeah. We watched this skit yesterday where it's like a Johnny Cash skit, and there's like this Johnny Cash character, and he's recording, and he starts to do like his storytelling music, and then Tim Robinson comes and starts singing about skeletons, and it's very only Tim Robinson can do it. Like, if you were to describe this to a person, they'd be like, why is that funny? But if you watch it, it is like impeccably funny. So
yeah, I would hate the TikTok like if it was just people with his mind, but he specifically has cornered the non sequitur, like crazy humor.
Something about him where I'm just like, he just makes me laugh, and I don't know why. Like, I couldn't describe to somebody who's never seen or watched Tim Robinson why he's funny, because he tickles the same funny bone in me that probably tickles the 13-year-olds that are like 6'7". It's like he's that kind of humor where it's like, I couldn't possibly explain to you why this is so funny, but it is. So Tim Robinson, what's having a moment for you, Meredith?
It's funny you say that. It kind of reminds me of like when I was like 13 and I discovered Tom Green. And like, I feel like either you thought Tom Green was funny or you didn't. And I was just like, Mom, Dad, you got to check this out. Like, get in here. He's making statues.
Yes.
They were like, ooh.
This is exactly that humor. It's exactly that humor.
I think, okay, for me right now, I have been loving, speaking of TikTok, I have been loving the trend of people coming home for Thanksgiving and playing their parents we're Charlie Kirk, we carry the flag, like the Charlie Kirk, like gospel. I don't know if it's I don't know what it is, like praise music. It's a song. And so people have been playing it for their parents, and it's this like over the top, like, whatever. You'd hear it at like a Hillsong. But this is what I love about it. This is like what I find so fascinating, is that it's so many like white parents hearing this song who go, oh my God. And it just makes you remember that like not every single person who looks like a Karen is a MAGA. Like, I love seeing these moms who like look so full on Karen, and they're like sitting there at their kitchen island, like playing on their phone, and then they hear this and they go, oh God, I hate this. And like that just brings me joy. Somewhere like in the middle of America, there is a mom who wakes up every day and is like, I hate Trump. And that brings me joy.
Yeah. Well, on that note, may we all experience the joy of seeing, white women say that Trump should not be president.
Yeah.
May
be bursting with joy this holiday season.
Yeah.
Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Remind our folks where they can follow you and your incredible new show.
Absolutely. Yeah, at jburstofa on the socials. And tomorrow.today will take you right to the YouTube first episode of
Ooh,
Tomorrow
good
Today.
URL.
Yeah. And it's the future of EVs. We're trying to depoliticize in a post-Musk era, renewables. And then you just see some cool tech and it's a fun ride. So please check it out.
Love to see it. All right. Thank you so much, y'all. We'll be back next Tuesday, and we'll tell you more about that guest in the future. I can't get it together quick enough. Sorry, guys. This is live too. We'll do it live. We'll do it later.
Bye.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.